Welcome back. Today we're gonna read another story. And it's by the same author, Peter H. Reynolds, so I'm really excited. He's one of my favorite authors. This book is called The Dot. It's a very different story, still about art, and about a young girl who had some trouble with art, but in a different kind of way. So let's take a look.
The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. The Dot. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." Her teacher smiled. "Just make a mark and see where it takes you." Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. There. Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper towards Vashti and quietly said, "Now sign it." Vashti thought for a moment. Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name. The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot she had drawn. Her dot, all framed in swirly gold. I can make a better dot than that. She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted. A red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with the yellow, and she discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on a bigger paper to make bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. If you look really closely, that is probably the coolest one in this whole book to me because she didn't paint anywhere in this area. She painted around it. And the painting she did on the outside made the dot for her. So that's pretty cool stuff, man. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? No, not me. I can't even draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, "Please, sign it." So, friends, the moral of the story is that this little girl didn't believe in herself. And with the help of her teacher and her own imagination, she was able to come to terms with the fact that art is not just what you think it's supposed to be. It can be anything. And my favorite part, I think, about this story is that not only did she become aware of how important her brain, her creativity, her imagination was, but she was able to pass on that knowledge to another child. At the very end, she met that little boy at her art show. If she had never taken the time to listen and try something new, even though she didn't believe in herself, she would never have made it this far and met this little boy, who she then was able to show just how special his art was. And I think that's one of the most important lessons. Believing in yourself is just the first step, but being willing to try new things and open up and explore ideas and share with other people is such an important part of art.
So you noticed in the story that this little girl really, really struggled with art, and I know lots of you that I've had in my class, from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade, and even when I've taught older kids that were in high school, I've had students who sat down and they wouldn't do any art. None. They refused. And you know what they said when I asked? They said, "I can't make art, I can't draw, I can't do this. I don't want to do this because I can't do it." You can do it. Anybody can do it. Art is not about being able to draw. Because what does that even mean? There's so many varieties of different types of art and colors and ways that people create. There's no way to say this is how you draw. There's no one way to make art. So what this little girl did was genius. She put a mark on a paper, a little dot, and she wasn't even that proud of it until her teacher recognized it as being special. And then she realized, wait a minute, you're telling me a dot can be art? Yeah, it can. Any marks you make on paper, having fun and being creative, that is art. And what other people make might not be art to you, and that's okay. It's up to you what art is. No one can tell you. So for your project today, you're going to make a mark on a piece of paper, whether that be a dot or a line or a squiggle or a shape. You're going to make a mark on a paper. Just quickly make a little mark and then see where that takes you. So you can start adding to it. You can add rings of color, you could add circles, squares, dots, extra lines, different types of lines. You could turn it into something real. So maybe you draw that line and it looks kind of like the shape of an elephant, and you add on to it and turn it into that. I want you to just make a mark and create however makes sense to you. So go ahead, get that paper out, get a pencil, get your crayons, paint markers, colored pencils, whatever you've got, and start creating. Until next time, remember that you are so smart, so important, and so very loved. I'll see you soon.